Let's go, Rider Nation.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yeah, here we go. It's a feeling now. Hit 'em high, hit 'em low, 'cause we're dealing now. Everybody's giving it all they got, 'cause we're ready.
Welcome to the Piffles podcast, your Saskatchewan Rough Riders fan podcast. Thanks for joining us here this week. As always, you got me. I'm Alex.
I'm Steve.
And I just want to thank Craig for listening. We knew you've been a listener for a long time, but thank you, sir, for coming through for us.
It's just making it obvious now with the announcements of the perks last week, and we're going to get right into that. So that'll be a big part of the show. But thank everybody else for listening in as well, not just Craig Reynolds. Thanks for watching wherever you get or on YouTube or SaskTel Max TV on demand. Piffles Podcast is brought to you by Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sask Drive in Regina. You can give us a follow on social media. Everywhere you go, we're at Piffles Pod. I'm at Real Alex D.
You'll find me at Saphamod.
And as I'm contractually obligated to say, I do not need nor want your pity follows at Greg on Sports.
Piffles Podcast, also proud to be sponsored by Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Regina Realty, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tech Experience, and Bigfoot Vodka, of course, as well. So, guys, we're only 38 days away from seeing the Riders on the field preseason against the Bombers. That's of Tuesday, as of Tuesday, so 38 days. By the time anybody pays attention to this, it'll be like 3 days. So it's right around the corner.
That is Jaden Dahlke away from.
we're going to talk about Jaden Dahlke a little bit today as well. Let's get right to it. Let's jump to our opening kickoff. So we'll start with the same thing we do every week. Talk about what the Riders
try to take over the world.
Okay, are you Pinky or are you the brain?
Well, I'm not the brain.
I was being nice by suggesting that.
Boink, narf.
He definitely has the pinky vibes. I'm sure I heard him say narf at least once or twice.
You know,
literally just said it, Greg.
With the way that this world is going, I'm willing to hear them out and what their plans for the world takeover is. It probably isn't too bad sounding right now. But we start out, the Riders, of course. Rider News comes out on Wednesdays because they know we record this show on Tuesdays. So they always get to beat us to the punch on it. I get it. It's a fun gag we've had going for the last 10 seasons of how they do things over at Mosaic Stadium. But a couple things. We'll start with starting quarterback, Trevor Harris. So this was actually Justin Dunk of 3 Down Nation. Did an interview with him. Trevor Harris revealed he played last season on a partially torn ACL and a pretty big tear of his MCL as well. So when you guys heard that news, what was your reaction?
How little faith do they have in their backup quarterback room that he played the remainder of the season with a partially torn ACL and severely torn MCL? That tells you everything about their backup situation last year. That a hobbled Trevor Harris was a substantially better option than anything else they had to throw out.
A hobbled Trevor Harris almost stole the MOP nomination because of how well he played in those final games down the stretch. A full season of a full-strength Trevor Harris, no wonder he's a lot of the reporters' favorites for the MOP this year. My Lord.
We always knew that this guy was a beast. He's a physical machine. He's doing the TB. He might still be doing the TB12 diet, but this guy is he's not your typical 40-year-old quarterback. This guy he's physically he's a freak, and I mean that in the nicest possible way. But to do that, like, this guy is tough, and it also makes you question. Okay, well, now he's was playing on a partially torn ACL. That does bring up questions about the health, because there are the questions about his health to begin with, being an older quarterback. being hurt the last 2 seasons. Now we know it was more severe last year than we thought. Does that concern you guys coming into this year? Because I'm seeing a few more comments now after this news came out that, great, like just he's not going to last.
It definitely makes the signing of Jake Mayer that much more important. Having a legitimate
stop it. No, stop.
Backup quarterback.
Still not
him.
completely over it, Steve.
You're lucky he's not on Cameo. Just saying. The revenge.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.
I didn't even say his name. Stop it.
Say his name and he appears.
Oh. Never, ever, ever tell the CFL family the things you don't like. You will be haunted by them forever.
The family had nothing to do with it. That was me and Alex.
Oh, no. The entire extent of this has been years in the making.
But the fact remains is Trevor Harris, yes, he is a beast. And yes, there's more concern about his injury history. But if he comes in fully locked and loaded on full strength, a couple more extra knee braces on, like, it's not going to affect his mobility. Let's face it, he's not exactly a scrambler. He can do a 2-step drop with like 3 knee braces on if he had to. So I'm looking forward to what he can do on a full season, hopefully a full season.
Well, and that's where the signings of Philippe Gagnon and Sean McEwen are going to pay dividends. You got to keep that offensive line healthy so you can keep Trevor Harris healthy. I mean, he got hurt in week 3, so the O-line wasn't suffering a lot of their injuries yet. But at the same time, it's just imperative that this offense, which is now going into the second year together, which Trevor Harris hasn't had here, or we haven't seen in Saskatchewan for a while anyway, and Harris hasn't had it in his career for a while. It's important, and it should help the Riders get out to a fast start on offense this year. And it's the most important thing that this team needs in 2025 is health, offensive line health, quarterback health. And if they can keep that O-line healthy and keep Trevor Harris up, yeah, why couldn't he be MOP?
And especially look at the weapons they put around him. Like this team is, especially in the receiving core, we've talked about it constantly. Like they are so deep at receiver right now. And then you have a locked in AJ as well. Like he's looking svelte but strong. Like shed some of those pounds so he could be a little quicker and a little more mobile. This offense looks really, really good.
You say AJ will shed a couple of pounds like I ate 1 extra piece of cake at dessert. Dude shed everything he had and more. Let's be serious. I want whatever diet he was on to extend my athletic career.
He went carnivore.
Yeah, he did the carnivore diet.
Like 200 pounds of meat,
sense.
200 ounces of meat at the supper, and that's about it. Like, and then it was like fasting and like grazing during the middle of the week or middle of the day, like crazy.
Yeah, I'm not
Steve,
going to do that.
Do that and work out like 6 hours a day, and you too could be jacked AF like AJ Ouellette.
I don't see that happening. I just don't.
You like the snacks too much?
I do.
We got a full snack table over here, so I
got a snack drawer at work. Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't miss about having an office job is the snack drawer, because I lost 20 pounds after 2 months getting out of radio, so that was kind of nice.
I know where they went.
Sorry about that. Flipping over to the organizational side of things we have screamed about for years. First off, we'll talk about the Riders are bringing back flex packs, ticket options for 2025. It just makes sense. If you can only come to 5 games, well, there's your tickets for you and a friend or your spouse or whoever, you and your kid, whatever. So they're bringing that back, which I think is good because they got to do something to get more casual fans in. Obviously, if season tickets aren't moving as much as they were, get them in for half the games, get them in for 3 games, whatever it is, just get people in the stadium. So flex packs are back.
which is good. Like you said, it gives people more options. And if they buy the flex pack and they go, well, now we have these tickets, we should probably use them, as opposed to, well, I wouldn't mind going to another game, and then life happens, and then they're like, I don't need to buy it right now. So if people have tickets, they will use them. So give them options to have tickets.
They had it in the past, and it was a great addition. And to have taken it away, and I understand why they took it away. There was no need for it. They had the season ticket base, they had the wait list, but all of those things have fallen off over the last 4 or 5 years. That they've gotten to the point where they need to bring those fans back. They're not going to succeed with just the dwindling season ticket holder base.
But the real reason why we're here this week is, again, to thank Craig Reynolds for listening to us, because it was announced on Wednesday last week, of course, the day after we record. The Riders are adding season ticket member perks. So finally, a reason to actually be a season ticket holder right now when there's only 15,000. That was the last number that they had from last year, 15,000 season ticket holders. So we all got the email. We're all getting a dedicated account rep, and I swear if my rep is not
Cindy,
I'm going to be upset, because Cindy
We
is
riot.
the absolute best. Absolutely.
I think Cindy has enough pull where she can go, I'm taking this person and this person
she
and
probably
this person.
she probably got to choose. Yeah.
Yeah.
and she specifically choose other than us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm probably not on that list.
No, this is something that most teams already have. So what I like about this is it will create that relationship. It won't be somebody different you talk to if you have questions or if they need to call for whatever reason. It's one person, and you might get to know them a little bit better. So it does create just that better relationship. And that's what the Riders have needed to do with fans, is create and build a relationship. So this, while in the grand scheme of things probably doesn't mean a lot, it's one of those little things that does mean a lot, if that makes any sense.
Well, so me and my buddies used to go to Arizona all the time to play golf. And of course, we'd go swing by the Coyotes when they still existed, because it was very easy to get tickets there. I had a rep, and I just bought I just bought single tickets, but we were there so often. I would get a call every year from Phil. Hey, you and the boys coming down again? You guys hitting the golf course? You guys hitting the last hole? And I'm like, well, man, still know a lot about me. Don't get me wrong. You probably have everything written down in a file, but the fact remains is he was doing his job. Like he was calling, seeing if I wanted tickets, see if I wanted to upgrade when he knew I had tickets already. And it helps create that relationship. It helps create a little more more revenue for the team, because they will upsell you on things probably.
Oh, of course.
But it's also a good way to keep you informed of stuff you might not even know. Because I was like, you guys got that email. Well, you guys saw the email before I did, and I'm like, what's going on? And then finally I went and go check my email. Then I'm like, oh, okay, now I know what's going on. Then I saw the spelling mistake, and I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Season
They
ticket.
need a dedicated. Yeah, they need a dedicated proofreader is what they need.
It's not the first time. At least it's a good font.
Yes.
No final
No
score
anal score.
font. Yeah, anal score. Yeah. So we get our dedicated account rep. We'll get a souvenir ID card, which basically celebrates how long you've been a ticket holder for. Now, this doesn't get you into the games. You can't just flash it like a badge or whatever and be like,
I
I'm
wanted
Alex.
to
I
do
get
the
to
Wayne's
walk right
World. I want to do
Right?
the Wayne's World.
And then you see like Corey Mason on the sidelines. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Man, I love that movie so much. And you get a lanyard for it. So no shoelace this year. We get a full lanyard. So there you go.
I have heard one thing about the souvenir ID card that I wonder if it's maybe something they plan down the road, but giving season ticket holders with that souvenir card potentially a discount at food options. Because I don't understand the need for that card if it's just a souvenir card that goes in your wallet and you never touch again.
What I'm wondering, though, kind of tied off of that, a few years ago, I believe it was Tampa Bay. All their season ticket holders for the Lightning got jerseys, and in that jersey they actually sewn a microchip, and it allowed you to discounts at the thing, but it also you could load it like a Starbucks card, and then you could go cashless at the stadium. So I'm wondering if that is something they're going to be tooling with down the line.
That wouldn't be a bad idea. Throw $100 on there at the beginning of the season, and depending on how that first game goes, might get you through the first game of drinks.
Well, we know Craig listens, so now he has. If they didn't have the idea, they do now.
But that's a good idea.
It's coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we already get season ticket holders. We get a discount at the store anyway. So maybe this makes it a little bit easier. They can swipe it. They can scan it, whatever the case is for that. But you make a good point about concessions. And I know the Calgary Stampeders do this. I think the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do it as well, too. You have your season ticket card or whatever, and they scan that, and you get 15% off at concessions. While that would be a great idea here, as long as Real's in charge, I can't see that happening. There's no way they're giving any kind of discount.
And also part of the problem is they've subleased all the food spaces out. So you might be able to get away with that at the Real ones, because I'm certain Real and the Riders could work out a deal.
Yeah.
But at the Coney Islands, at the Western Pizzas, all that, I don't know if they could do that because they are independently run by the companies that bought that space.
So be nice to have, but wishful thinking if you think you're going to get a discount on concessions, at least probably for this. I would be shocked. I'll just say I would be shocked if they introduce that. Be very happy, and I would give them the praise for it. Just don't think it's going to happen. Next thing we get is a thank you gift. And this is for each individual ticket too. This isn't just for per account. They made this clear in the small print, was that this is for each seat. Each seat gets this gift. Each season ticket member at the beginning of the season at the exclusive kickoff event on May 24th, which happens to be the preseason game against Winnipeg. In Winnipeg, I should say, as well. So it's the Saturday. So what that thank you gift is, no idea. Kind of looking forward to seeing what that is. But that brings us into the next one, is the exclusive kickoff the season event on May 24th. So the Rider game against Winnipeg, I think it's at 2:00.
Yep.
Okay, well, you're going to have this event probably leading into that. Well, what if, assuming that the weather is going to be nice, throw the game on the Maxtron. You can have season ticket holders and you'll make some money on concessions. Don't have to open all of them, obviously, but just have a couple of the basic ones. Sell some chips, popcorn, hot dogs, hamburgers, pops, and drinks, and there you go. So maybe there'll be something going on there.
Yeah, like you and I talked about this when we were in the Sports Cage. Yeah, just open it up like they did for the Raptors games. All they did was have the west side stands open. Everyone was watching the game on the Maxtron, and I think it was the Harvard Lounge was open to sell like popcorn, chips, hot dogs, I think. Keep it simple, keep it fun, make it family friendly.
Yeah.
Have guys you don't send to Winnipeg down on the field, and just
The fact that they're having this on the day of the preseason game, there's 100% chance they're showing that game on the Maxtron. I can't see them not. If they do, it would be such a missed opportunity for free revenue and free entertainment, right? You get people actually caring about the first preseason game. That in itself would be a feat.
Is it actually going to be broadcasted, or is it going to be some guy with his phone putting it on Facebook?
That has never happened in the history of sports.
But with that, you talk about having a couple players there. Well, they've already said they're going to have a locker room tour, player autographs, along with the gift pickup and everything. So yeah, they're, clearly not going to send some of the players to Winnipeg, probably some of the bigger name players. They're going to have them here for the second game. But that'll be something for everybody there too. Go talk a little bit of football with the Riders.
And those locker room tours are awesome. When they used to
I
have
wish it was a full stadium tour.
I wish it was too, but there's only so much you can see. But the
Exactly.
locker room itself is beautiful. So show it off. I've been there. A bunch of people have been there before, but seeing it for the first time is still awesome. That thing is an immaculate. To find that kind of dressing room in the CFL is rare. I don't know. Maybe Hamilton might be the closest. Winnipeg, maybe. But that thing is awesome.
Let's be honest. Seeing that room for the second, third, or fourth time is still pretty cool. I've only been in it once. I want to see it again.
And especially because they got like the mannequins wearing the uniforms as you come down the hallway to enter the locker room.
Yeah.
The logo on the ceiling where it's supposed to be, not on the floor.
Yes, they got it right.
But yeah, no, that thing and everyone loves the barbershop. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't have hair. I don't care.
And then a couple other things that is part of these perks. There's a exclusive gate entrance at each of the 4 main gates when you go into the game. So unclear if this will be in addition to the no bag line, I assume. So what about season ticket holders with bags? Do they go which do they go through?
Well, I'm certain with the season ticket holders with bags, I'm certain they would deal with that as well. But yeah, no, it's about time us season ticket holders have something over the peasants. Whatever.
That's where you got to take your souvenir card as you walk.
Yeah,
by
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
that's when you Wayne's rolled your way in. Yeah,
That's what it almost should be for. Is just for that entrance.
It's like when you do a mobile order at Tim's and you walk by the giant line of people that go pick up your drink and walk out the door. You got to wave at everybody as you leave.
But it's just something little. Like, yeah, you shut down one of the extra no bag lines for a season ticket line. Who cares? Like, it's just something. A reason to buy season tickets so you're not standing in that long line while they check everyone's bags.
It'll actually be pretty nice for Labor Day because going in on Labor Day can take a while. So
I don't know. Dealing with Bomber fans in line is always fun.
I don't know. Dealing with them kind of sucks because they suck. And one good thing, if you can't go to a game, and I know you are a big fan of this one, Greg. If you can't go to a game, no problem. You can transfer your tickets to a later game and bring a friend with you. So if you can't make it to, let's say, the home opener, you have 2 tickets. Well, you can use those 2 tickets later on down the year. Obviously not for Labor Day or the playoffs because those are excluded in absolutely everything. But basically just defers it because they'll take your tickets back from you, try and sell them, of course. And then you just get your two tickets later in the year. So if you want to bring 4 people to the last game, then there you go.
Yeah, I like this a lot because when we'd go to the lake a lot before my parents sold the cabin, there'd be times where I'd be like, do I really want to go see the Riders play the Red Blacks? Or do I want to spend more time at the lake? And so the last minute, I'm throwing up my tickets. And then sometimes they'd sell, sometimes they wouldn't. So this at least gives me the option I can try to sell them. And if I can't, I'll just defer them to a game later and go from there. Either way, the Riders are going to make their money try to make money on my tickets. And I still have the possible use of them. And I like the flexibility of it.
And it's good for the out-of-towners. So if you look at the schedule and you're somebody in Saskatoon, let's say, and you're like, I can only make like 3 of these games, but I've been season ticket holder for like 15, 20 years, maybe longer. I don't really want to give up my seniority, but I don't want to be stuck with all these tickets that I can't sell. Well, there you go. All of a sudden, bring some friends with you, have a nice evening getaway on one of the Saturday afternoon games later on in the season, and you still get to keep the season tickets. So I think it's a very good thing. It probably helps the out-of-towners, or I mean, for you, a city guy, Greg, that goes out to the lake all the time, right? You don't have to make that decision.
And a lot of season ticket holders around me apparently are from Estevan / Weyburn, Mydale area. And yeah, there's times where we turn around and they're like, oh yeah, you're the Piffles guy. Yeah, so-and-so can't be here today. So I got the tickets, or they just empty and they come back. It's like, yeah, we tried selling and we couldn't. So this will give them options as well. Obviously, the downside of that is those tickets are not going to be probably beside your seats. So you're probably bringing people to the game to meet up with them on the concourse at a different time. But hey, it's better than not having those tickets at all, or like trying to put them up and just eating the cost if you can't sell them. But when this team wins every game this year, we won't have to worry about empty stadiums, so it doesn't matter.
That's exactly it. Winning cures everything. So little things, teams starting to get it, to move forward with the fans. Obviously, it took them how many years of season tickets declining to finally realize that, yeah, we are taking our ticket holders for granted. And this shoelace that we gave them clearly is not enough. So while these things aren't going to be the greatest gifts, thank you gifts or whatever in the history of pro sports, it's just that nice gesture, right? So it's starting to right the wrongs. And I've noticed that over the last couple of years, especially kind of the last 2 years, that's where this team is headed. So clearly they're talking about this in the boardroom. Clearly they're discussing what they can do and how they can get fans back. So, again, ultimately winning will bring people back, but if you can tie that in with a product that you have on the field right now with a team that probably could be a very strong Grey Cup contender, and you start giving this stuff away, well, hell yeah, I want tickets next year too.
Well, that's it. Like, they're almost timing this perfectly. If they would have dropped all these perks in the Dickey era when we're losing every game after Labor Day,
Yeah.
and people are already questioning their season ticket holders, like, okay, but you get like a fan day. It's like, okay, but you still suck. This way, the team's on the upswing. There's a bunch of momentum going into this year. A lot of people have them, even though the betting lines aren't showing it, as their favorite to at least come out of the West, if not win the Grey Cup. So why not strike while it's heating up and try to get people on board? Keep that momentum going.
I know what it is. I know what the free gift is, the thank you gift. It's a yard sign. It's got to be a yard sign.
So help me God if it is.
A Roland Milligan long sign.
Yeah.
Those unoriginal bastards.
So there you go. Riders bringing back some season ticket member perks. And I'm looking forward to the May 24th day, honestly, just to have a day at the park. So, and one other thing for the Riders, it was kind of a quiet thing that was noted, and I forget where I got this from. I think it might have been from one of Taylor Shire's articles, or else it was Rob Vanstone's. I'm sorry, I don't remember which one. But 2 players getting new numbers for 2025. Jackson Ford is going from number 17 to number 21. Of course, that was grandfather Al's number back in the day for the Riders. So that's pretty cool that Jackson gets to have, Al Ford's number, which means Nelson Lacombo, who was number 21 before, he's going to number 25. So just a couple little housekeeping notes on jersey numbers there.
Well, Jackson also wore 21 at U of S. So I'm guessing he probably wore 21 all through his formative football days. So to get that back, I'm certain was very important for him.
And this being the CFL, I imagine tens of dollars were changed hands to make that happen. This isn't the NFL where they pay tens of thousands of dollars to get their money back or their jersey back. But there was probably a little something heading to Nelson Lacombo to give that number up.
Well, Lacombo also wore 25 at U of S, so I'm wondering now that it became open if he just wanted it. But you can't fault a guy. But like I told you guys in the DM, I think the weirdest thing going to see is Jake Mayer wearing a single digit. He's wearing number 9. He hasn't worn a single digit since high school. He was 15 in college.
Hopefully we never see it, though. That means he's on the bench. That means Trevor Harris is healthy.
I'm surprised he didn't fight Tommy Stevens for 17. Like, at least wear double digits, because he's going to be putting on his jersey. And like, this doesn't feel right. It's not like the numbers aren't in the right spot.
It's a little off center.
Yeah. Shane Rainey wearing number 5. D-line means shouldn't wear number 5.
Only one of them. And even then. Are you one of those old school guys that they have to be by position, like 0
No.
to 20? You don't care about that? Okay.
I really don't care about that.
Because I know some people are actually really picky about that. It's really weird to me. I'm like, it's just a number. Like as a fan, it's just a number.
It's literally just laundry. People settle down.
Actually, I have to laugh though. I'm looking at like McEwen got his 51 because he wore 51 regardless. Gagnon's wearing 53. Like nothing is really out of place except for Joe Couch still wearing 76. So rent, don't buy, Joe Couch.
Yeah, if you have a number in the 70s, chances are you're in tough to make the team.
And meanwhile, they give the new punter, was it 7? I think they gave him 17. What did they give him? They gave him a real number though, 14.
Bailey Flint.
No, 26. They gave him 26. Still not a great number for a punter, but
weird number for a punter.
But it's not a 70.
Not as weird as 76.
Yeah, I guess so.
That's 50 positions higher.
Well, there's the opening kickoff presented by Kathy Feshton of Royal LePage General Realty. Last week on Remember That Guy, Greg, you gave it a one Vanstone. No, two Vanstone. One Vanstone.
Two Vanstones.
Two Vanstones.
Vanstone.
This week you've promised it's a 3 Vanstone.
I think it's a 3. I don't know. This might be a 2.
I'm going to hand in my resignation on this department now. This is not anything higher than a 1, and I'm just going to sit back and let it happen.
All right.
All right. Well, Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's tactical laser tech experience. Let's hear some clues as to who we're talking about in rider history today.
11
Dennis
years
Guile.
pro football. No, still not Dennis Guile. It's never going to be Dennis Guile until the day it's Dennis Guile, and that's after you stop asking if it's Dennis Guile.
It's going to be the greatest day when it's Dennis Guile. I can't wait for that one.
9 years from now.
Episode 714.
Remember Dennis Guile. That's all the title's going to be.
I do.
Okay. Remember that Guile. Anyway, 11-year pro football career. 2-time rider. Made stops in Denver, New England, Buffalo, Toronto, and Hamilton. Graduated from the University of Indiana with a major in behavioral science and criminal justice.
Because that helps out.
I know. That's just a great fact. Played football and ran track at Indiana.
Ran track. Okay.
While his personal best was a 10.34 at the 100 meter, he ran a 4.29 40 at his pro day. Combined 8,572 professional return yards. Looking for a kick returner, boys. Looking for a kick returner.
Yep.
Played in the NFL and the CFL. Was a rider twice.
Toronto.
Is it Chet? Not Chad Owens.
Dominic Dorsey.
We're getting thiggy with it. Marcus Thigpen.
Thiggy. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did play in the NFL.
Yes, he did.
I'll never forget Marcus Thigpen flipping me off on Dewdney Avenue because he cut me off. He was mad I was going the speed limit.
Best story. This is great because you were driving me home that night. We were coming back from playing floor hockey in the East End.
See, I don't know this story. This is
really
news I'm learning for the first time.
I thought we told you this. So
no.
It's in the winter too, isn't it? Yeah, so yeah, it was winter hockey. Yep. So we're playing floor hockey, and we're coming back on Dewdney Avenue. This is just past Park Street before you hit Winnipeg Street in Regina here, and this car's right behind Steve, and he's like just tailing him. He's right on him, and out of nowhere,
keep in mind, I'm going the speed limit or like 55, like I always do.
Well, and like it just snowed that day or something too, so the roads still weren't great. Like they weren't terrible, but they weren't optimal driving condition roads. So this car just boom goes right around Steve, and he just like stares us down as he goes by, flips the bird, and we look for like, is that Marcus Thigpen? Like right away we noticed that that's who it was. We're like,
yeah,
wow, okay, he had somewhere to go, I guess.
I remember that guy.
Yes, you should. I need to find out all the players that have flipped Steve off so I can add them to the roster here.
So far, that number is too higher than I ever thought it would be.
I'm sure there's
But
another
yeah.
couple.
But yes, so he was undrafted free agent signing with the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he signed with Broncos after he got cut in Philly. Then he got cut by the Broncos, signed in Saskatchewan in 2009. Was on the practice roster. Played, I think, 1 or 2 games at the end of the year. Riders cut him in training camp the following year. Signed in Hamilton. Then he was there for 2 years. Then in Miami for 2,
He was a
New England
star
for
there
1.
in Hamilton for those 2 years. He was excellent.
Yep. And then he went to Miami. Signed with New England, got cut. Signed with the Dolphins, got cut. Signed with the Buccaneers, got cut. Went to Buffalo for 2 seasons. Indianapolis for 1. Oakland for 1. Back to the Bills in 2015. Took a year off, and then back with the Riders 2017 to 2019. Signed with the Argonauts. Season got canceled in 2020. Never played again.
See, if you were to say Marcus Thigpen, I would have thought you'd throw some running back numbers in there too, some rushing numbers.
He's primarily a kick returner. His rushing yards, he only has 861 rushing yards in the CFL. 25 in the NFL. Like, he was not a running back. He was a kick returner primarily.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty sure if I said 861 rushing yards in 11 years, you're like Trevor Harris.
I do remember a lot of Bombers fans using Marcus Thigpen's suspension as some kind of gotcha after Andrew Harris got caught, as if Rider fans couldn't call him out. Those were good times.
Yeah, I almost put that in there, but I could not say testosterone. Tried, couldn't do it.
That's a word.
It is a word. 2 games. He only got 2 games for that. It seemed like so much more.
Yep. It was the first 2 games of this season too, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, because it was in the offseason.
Yeah.
It was in March 15th. He got dinged, or 12th. Sorry, he got dinged.
His second stint with the Riders, he was so good. That the special teams and especially the receivers that we had in the kind of that mid Chris Jones era, there were some solid players on this team.
That semifinal in Ottawa, was it a 80 yards, 75 yards,
75-yard touchdown run? Yeah.
Like, dude could be electric. Like, he was something special when he got going. It just surprised me he never. Then again, when you're bouncing around the NFL, and don't get me wrong, get that bag while you can, but he would have been a star up here if he would have stayed up here. And he could have flipped Steve off more than one time.
I got to make sure I add to that total. 2 is not enough players who have flipped me off over my lifetime. Gotta bump those numbers. Those are rookie numbers.
And I'm just looking him up here on the old Wikipedia, Marcus Thigpen, and his second stint with the Riders was pretty nice. Had a hell of that playoff game against Ottawa. Ooh. And then had career highs in rushing and touchdowns in the 2018 season.
That was one of our few Piffles watch parties. That game went, we were rocking back and forth on that game, that Ottawa game.
Yeah.
And then the next week against friggin' Argos.
Pretty sure that game was on my birthday. We definitely did the watch party at the old press box.
We did.
Yep.
Yeah. And it was definitely my birthday.
Yeah.
I don't remember much from that game.
We won. But, yeah. So, yeah, that was Marcus Thigpen. Ran the 4x100 relay in college. So.
All right. Marcus Thigpen on Remember That Guy, sponsored by District 306, Regina's Tactical Laser Tag Experience. Well, let's jump to our Churchill Brewing Company odds and end zones. Do you guys want to do theme games or do you want to do our rankings first portion of this show?
Let's rank first. Let's go.
All right. So I put out an article as we're talking about the CFL draft coming up in 2 weeks. last week we ranked the last 11 number one overall CFL draft picks because the CFL decided to make it over the last 11 years. Still don't know why. But I decided we're going to have a little bit of fun here and look back. And this week we're doing the top 10 draft picks by Jeremy O'Day. And Luke Mulliner was on not too long ago and saying the JO haters are starting to run out of things to hate on right now. And there's one thing, and we've said it before, that he's constantly pretty good at, and it is the Canadian draft. Yes, there are some swings and misses, and that'll be for next week, actually. I have a top 5. I already have it written, my top 5 swings and misses from Jeremy O'Day in the draft.
The fact that you have a top 10 draft picks that worked and a top 5 that failed should say everything about his drafting ability. It's good.
It is good, honestly. And we look at some of these names. So,
and I would argue his misses, everyone missed because there's been some bad years with the CFL drafts.
Yes. And with the misses, actually, there's 2 of them retired on the exact same day. So that was fun.
Was that Jana?
Jana and Matlin Riley.
There we go. I was like, I know one's Jana. I couldn't remember who the other guy was.
Where do they place, though? That'll be next week's topic. But this week, the best ones. So we'll start. I'll list them in order and just a brief explanation why. You guys feel free to jump in. Tell me if they should be higher or lower on this list, do you think? So this is my personal list. This is not for you guys, but by all means, rip it apart. Number 10, I put Jackson Ford. Second round pick in 2023. Still a little bit of, he's only a couple years in. Injuries have slowed him down, so I can give him the benefit of the doubt. Not that this year coming up is a prove-it year, but he's a good special teamers player. He can probably still develop into the starting safety. So I started off the list at number 10 with Jackson Ford. Offensive lineman Zach Fry, round 2 pick in 2022. Got thrust into playing last year with all the injuries. I'd honestly have him a little bit higher in this list if we didn't sign Sean McEwen and Philippe Gagnon, basically pushing him to the 6-man spot for this upcoming season. But I'm sure, knock on wood, injuries will happen. He'll get some playing time this year.
I would honestly bump him up higher even with those signings, because those signings don't change the fact that he is now, to me, the best 6th lineman in the league, despite only being in the CFL realistically for the last season. He spent 2023 on the practice roster.
Yeah.
Year before he went back to school. So he's only had one true season in the CFL, and he didn't look out of place at all. And for a Canadian offensive lineman to effectively jump in and perform to that level, I would have bumped him up. Maybe not top 5, but getting pretty close.
Number 8, I put Nelson Lacombo. I know I'll probably get flack about this one. I know that we all were hoping to upgrade from Nelson Lacombo at safety in the offseason. I think it's the fact that he was a number 2 overall pick. He was a first-round pick in 2021 that we have so much more high expectations for him. But he's a starting safety. You get a starting player in your draft, he has to crack the list. The starter gets on the list. He still has the potential to go up higher in this list if he becomes more of a reliable player. And we saw that at the end of last season. He did progressively get better at the end. If he can forward that in 2025 and become a legitimate starter in this league, he can go much higher on this list in next year's list.
I agree. I still stand by, and I will go to my grave probably saying this. He's a better corner than a safety. He does not have that physicality that you want at safety. He can learn it, but I don't think it's there for him. But as a corner, all day. Like he's a good cover guy, and he proved that last year, especially in that playoff game where he basically baited him to throw that interception.
Yes.
I still think he's better at corner. But yeah, no, he's definitely proven he can play in this league.
Now these guys are first and second round picks. So not that they're the big home runs, but they're so far pretty solid over the last couple of years for these higher picks. Now we get to the fun ones for me, where you're going to get good value, and that's why they're a little bit higher on this list, because I took into consideration where they were drafted. So at number 7, I have running back Thomas Bertrand Houdon, who was the round 4 pick in 2023. Very, very good special teams player. Handles the rock very well. Anytime he gets a chance on offense, he produces. That game against Ottawa last year when Armstead got hurt, he was excellent. Not very often you're going to get productivity out of a 4th rounder. But Bertrand Houdon, he's proven that he can be a very solid player in the CFL.
He's a Swiss Army knife. They can put him anywhere. They can put him on offense. They can put him on special teams. Doesn't look out of place. Like, he's going to have a position on this team for a very long time. And the dude can actually, I don't know if he'd be a full-time starter at running back, but he's shown if a guy goes down, he can definitely carry the ball, and your offense will not be out of place.
The fact that we're talking about a 4th round draft pick as versatile as Bertrand Houdon has been, I think, honestly, again, this is a guy that you might have a little bit lower. I would swap him and the next guy on your list without
I was
hesitation.
thinking the same thing, actually.
And
Fair.
the problem I have with the second name on the list is, as good as he is at what he does, he's also a little bit of a hothead and gets some penalty troubles. You never run into any of those issues with Bertrand Houdon. He just plays the game well and is consistent no matter where you put him. And when he gets the chance to perform on offense at running back, he's been stellar. As a 4th round pick, what more could you ask for?
Yeah, I'm a big TBH fan, TBH. And that name you were talking about before, yeah, thank you. The next one, number 6 on the list that you would swap here, is Jaden Dalkey. Round 6, 54th overall in 2022. That's why he's higher on this list. That's a round 6. How often do these guys pan out? Dalkey, again, very good special teams player, a guy who can get on the rotation in defensive back, play defense. Is he going to be the starter? Probably not anymore. I know he was in the doghouse just with those penalties, as you mentioned, Steve, but you're getting production out of a 6th round draft pick. To me, that's why he gets bumped ahead of Bertrand Houdon for me.
And I think the problem I have with that, the problem I have with that is the potential was there right out of the gate for him. And we all loved him. I mean, I've got my big Dalkey energy mug. We've got shirts. We love the guy, right? Like, he's got a great personality. He's the kind of guy you need at safety. That hard-hitting, make you look twice before you cross the middle kind of player. But then he just fell off. And a lot of it had to do with those penalties. And it seems like if he doesn't play with that edge, he's not the same player. And to me, that just drops him down, as he can't be that guy. And that's what put him up there to me. And now
he can be that guy. He can play to that edge. He just needs to understand when the whistle goes, you're done. And how many times was it he'd make a play and then it was a late flag and they're marching the other team offense forward? Like, he just needs to make the play, let his play speak for itself, and then walk away.
But that's what I mean, is it doesn't seem like he has that ability to do both of those, that edge. And some guys are like that, where you have that edge and it is permanent. You can't just turn it off when the whistle blows. We've seen that time and time again with players. You know, a guy that stands out to me would be a guy like Diamond Ferry. You know, you ask him to
Jamie and I's
step
favorite
back
player
a little bit, but you ask him to step back a little bit, and it changes how they play the game. And to me, that's how it looked for Jaden Dalkey. And I hope he comes back this year with an understanding to play to the whistle, because if he can, that competition at safety is going to be so much fun to watch.
And yes, I would agree with you if we didn't see him play to that edge in his rookie season, and then the following year he basically said, screw the edge, I'm going over every time.
Next up on the list, number 5. And in my first draft, I actually had this guy much higher. Joe.
If he was here this year, he should have been your number one. Like I am scared. He's a one and done. Like he's gonna be a 1-year CFL guy, and we're never gonna see him again.
For his sake, I hope so. For our sake, I hope he's back. But a round 7 pick last year, comes in as a raw rookie, 59th overall pick. And these guys, 7th round picks don't amount to anything in the CFL. If you look at recent history and if you go back through the drafts of the last 20, 30 years, the amount of 7th round players that make rosters are a very low percentile. Joe had an immediate impact in the preseason, in the first couple games against Hamilton, the home opener, having a nice long touchdown. Instantly became a fan favorite, selling jerseys. There's a ton of number 80 jerseys out there that aren't Don Arcis jerseys now. This guy is a marketing machine. So if he's back here in the CFL, this is a guy that they can make into a star.
And they tried. Like the CFL latched on him right away.
He was doing stuff at the Grey Cup for the CFL. He was at the Combine running the CFL's Instagram for a little bit. Like, this guy is everywhere.
He's a personality that you want, and he likes the limelight. Like, don't get me wrong, that can also swing. That pendulum can swing too far, but right now he gets it, and I hope nothing for the best for him in Indy. But yeah, I want him in Ryder Green as long as he could. Like I'm not gonna lie, when he got hurt, I'm like, okay, that means he's here probably for another year, and then the NFL is going to come a knocking. Well, they came a knocking anyway.
Well, when you've got his size combined with the pedigree of the was it Clemson, I believe he went to? The one time I can remember a CFL player's college school. Where's that on remember that guy? But the fact that you have all those things, that's what the NFL loves. And then you throw in his personality on top of it. Like just that everybody loves him kind of guy. He's not coming back. That's the kind of guy that you can market in any league on any team. He's I hope we see him again in Ryder Green, but not for his sake. I hope he spends his career, in a better team than Indy, but could be worse. Could be New England.
I was gonna say he's gonna look great in Patriot blue.
And I did say it the very last line I had about him in my little write-up. If a Joe does come back and becomes a full-time starter, he might be the best rider pick in the draft in the last 20 plus years.
The fact that so many teams didn't even take a flyer on him blows my mind. Like the dude had the size, the measurables, all that. The only question was, did he have the head for it? And that many people kept on saying no. It just blows me away.
I'm trying to remember, did he have a bad performance at the Combine leading up to it? I think that's what turned a lot of teams off of him.
Yeah, his Combine was not stellar. But as we've talked several times, everyone has tape. Like you saw what he can do in a game situation. Just because his broad jump is a little shorter than the other guys, who cares?
Yeah.
That's what you do when the lights go on that matters.
Exactly. Moving on here, number 4, Charbel DeBeer, round 5th pick in 2019, pick 44. He started to show it last year, the growth that he had. He was on an absolute heater to start the season before he tore his ACL. So not only just a great value pick with being a 5th round pick and just being in the rotation on the D line, to potentially looking at him next year as a starter, if he's going to be the one that replaces Micah Johnson. I mean, just for being a 5th round pick alone puts him up high on this list. But if he can come back and recreate what he started last year, that's an absolute steal for me.
He's a beast. Like, he's also had the learning tree of Micah Johnson right beside him to show him how to be a pro's pro, and it shows. Like, he's going to be something special, and at his size, Like he's just going to clog that middle and be the perfect Canadian defensive tackle there ever was.
All right, now the fun happens. The 2020 draft, round 4. So these were the next two guys are going to be. Number 3, AJ Allen, linebacker, round 4, pick 35 for the Riders in the 2020 draft.
Was this in hieroglyphics?
I will be completely honest. Sometimes I forget that he was drafted in that 4th round of the 2020 draft because the next guy on my list, number 2, Kean Schaefer-Baker, was also picked in the 4th round of that 2020 draft.
Great 4th round. Great 4th round.
That's a very solid draft.
That'd be
So
a good
AJ
first round, let alone a good 4th round.
So AJ Allen has the potential. We've seen him. He's one of the best special teams players in the CFL. Kind of overshadowed on his own team because Roland Milligan was playing special teams full-time last year. If Milligan wasn't playing special teams, AJ Allen would be the guy that we're talking about as best special teams player in the CFL. And now with Anthony Auclair moving on, there is a chance that AJ Allen probably has to take injuries to happen to flip the ratio, but could be a starting linebacker. I know they're probably going to put CJ Avery there to start at that spot, but every time AJ Allen got in on defense, he made an impact. This guy can straight out ball. And no longer can he be overlooked. So he deserves to be very high on this list.
He's a guy that I feel like could both be higher on the list and lower on the list, which means I think you have him in exactly the right spot. Because he is a guy that has been overlooked his entire career. And it wasn't really until last season that he started getting any recognition. And he had his coming out party. I look forward to seeing what he does in 2025.
I keep on forgetting he's Canadian. And that's...
Same.
And that might be because we have too many AJs and CJs, so they all just kind of merge into one conglomerate player. But yeah, no, he came out last year, and he showed it, and he was very quick to point out the disrespect, which good on you.
And number 2, Kean Schaefer-Baker, again that 2020 draft, round 4. I'm sure people will probably say I have him too high on this list because he's never hit 1,000 yards, he's had the injury history. But again, 4th round pick. This guy is good. And it's also the outside stuff. It's the marketing ability of him. Kids absolutely love this guy. He is a huge fan favorite. There are a ton of number 89 jerseys out there. People love Kean Schaefer-Baker. They don't put your name on jerseys and sell them at the store in the CFL and have racks of them if you're not loved. They just don't do that. They don't have 30 jerseys of somebody just sitting there. They do for KSB because he is such a big part of Rider Nation right now. So I for that reason, that's why I kind of bumped him up a little bit, because if it was just his production value, maybe I would have him a little bit lower. But starting Canadian, you got him in the 4th round, put up 970 yards a couple of years ago, whatever it was, and he's selling a ton of jerseys. He's number 2 on my list.
KSB, few things. One, my daughter's favorite player. Had to buy her a KSB jersey this year. Also,
friend of the show.
He's the new friend of the show. Also, he's the new Nick Dembski. Feels like he's a 1,000-yard receiver. Is not yet.
We'll be there.
Hopefully, it doesn't take as long as Nick
Dembski
Dembski to get there.
Yep.
But he feels like he's a 1,000-yard receiver. He should be a 1,000-yard receiver. But yeah, and you're right. Actually, a friend of mine works. I believe he was at Ethel Milk in school. So I saw a picture on her social media today. He was out there reading with the kids, and so I reached out and said, "Yeah, that's Emily's favorite player." He's like, "Oh yeah, he was awesome. He's great with the kids." And I'm like, "Yeah." So he's the type of guy you want in the organization, because yes, he moves jerseys. He's great in the public, and he's a great player.
It's funny you mentioned the visits to the school because for the same reason, he's Dylan's favorite, or he was, because they came to visit the school and they still talk about it. And that was several years ago that Schaefer Baker came and visited. They've had players since, and all I still hear about is the time Key and Schaefer Baker visited their school. He just has, again, that personality that people latch onto, that people want to see succeed. He had kind of a bit of a off year last year, it felt like, but maybe it was just because we saw the coming out party from Dante Myers and Keyshawn Johnson. But he's a guy that you need on the team. And if you can get that kind of value, 700 plus yards on average per year from your 4th round pick, I mean, we look at what we talked about with Joe, and you know, that's what you dream of for a guy. This is a stellar pick, and it's for a 4th rounder. 2 is about the right spot.
You know who is a very solid production around that 600-700 yards averaging a year that went undrafted for the Riders? Rob Bagg.
Yep.
So again,
greatest arms in CFL history.
Sam Jaguar has entered the chat.
Rob Bagg almost made me cry at a game.
Rob Bagg has made me cry at a game. All right, finishing off the list because we got to get going here. Sam MLS. Sometimes it's just got to be a no-brainer. I know he was a round 1 pick, but this guy has turned himself into the Riders' #1 receiver, which I think will be Keyshawn Johnson this upcoming year. But with MLS, the last couple of years, 2 1,000-yard seasons, he's put himself near the top of the Canadian receivers list in the CFL. And I said in my article, imagine if they treated him like an alpha in this offense, the same way Kenny Lawler and Eugene Lewis get treated. If you pepper him with targets, imagine what his numbers would actually be. So I think over the last 6 years of Jeremy O'Day being the general manager, Sam MLS is his best draft pick.
And you're not wrong. And I know we got to get moving because holy crap, we're an hour in. So I guess we're not getting to the extracurriculars we talked about before the show. But the fact is, he also drafted Justin McInnes, Braden Linnaeus. There's guys that aren't on this team anymore that he drafted that are still very good CFL players. You just can't keep everybody.
If you are a Canadian receiver and you are drafted by Jeremy O'Day, yes, congratulations on the Hall of Fame entrance. Yeah. You're going to have a good career ahead of you.
Unless you retire after 1 game and 1 catch for 7 yards like Terrell Jana.
Legend. I look forward to his remember that guy.
And he was from Virginia, right? I'm pretty sure he's UVA, and I don't know why I know
Virginia
that.
Or West Virginia, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he was
a pretty
UVA.
Good school. And I will say I did include Justin McInnes on any of these lists that I did for the simple reason that I think that he could have easily been #1 on this list in the top draft picks. I went with guys that stayed with the Riders because it's one thing to draft somebody. It's also another thing to keep them. And not that he was a swing and a miss, but that's a completely other discussion about retaining talent. So I omitted Justin McInnes from these lists for that reason.
But the funny thing is, though, on that one specifically, is they let McInnes walk to keep Linnaeus.
Yeah.
And then they ended up letting Linnaeus walk anyway.
And that didn't work out very well for the team. So yeah, again,
that happens.
Yeah,
it's football.
And really quick, just want to shout out to the 2023 global draft where we got Adam Korsak and Habakkuk Baldonado. So Jeremy O'Day has also taken those ones very seriously as well. We'll do the theme games next week because chances are the Riders are probably going to announce theirs over the next few days, because the BC Lions announced all theirs on Tuesday night. The Edmonton Elks are doing a hard hat huddle theme game, which is pretty cool. They're going to have excavators and diggers at their tailgate. They're going to have construction themed contests. So it's something new. It's fun. I like that. That's great.
It's different.
And it makes sense in that market. So we'll see what the Riders
talk about the announcement that the Riders are going to make in a week, because we know what it's going to be.
Country Roots.
Prairie Pride.
Prairie Pride. No, it's gonna be Prairie Pride this year.
BC is doing one too. They're doing a Wild West one at the end of the year, but I'm sure the Riders will announce that right away because we teased that we were going to talk about it. So yeah, if Craig made it through this whole episode,
He's out at an hour even going, okay, we can release it. They didn't talk about it.
Yeah. And sorry in advance, we really didn't get to any WrestleMania talk. But really quick, we have like 3 or 4 minutes tops. WrestleMania, but make it CFL since it's WrestleMania this weekend. Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. Greg, relate that to me in CFL terms. Cody Rhodes, the champion right now, for people that aren't following, is the baby face, the hero right now.
Baby face, okay.
John Cena used to be that hero baby face, but now he's the bad guy because he turned his back on the crowd and everybody, and he's going for a record championship.
Brady Oliveira would be Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to like him.
He's lovable.
Except for the whole champion part.
True,
well, he's got not defending.
He's got 1 or 2 rings. And loves dogs, like Cody loves Pharaoh, his dog. The guy that used to be a fan favorite that no one likes. Well, that'd be a battle of the dressing room because I think that's Zach Claros.
I was gonna say, to me, I had that written down. That is Zach Claros. Now he's the heel. Everybody hates him unless he's on your team. Like everybody hates him now.
I don't think his own team likes him anymore. Like I think Bomber fans are finally starting to come around. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, a friend of the show, fellow meatball John Fraser has been on Zach for years, and even me go. And he's been right. And actually, I've been going back and forth with a couple Bomber fans in my DMs that I actually like and kind of respect. And they're like, well, like Zach's going to turn it around. And I'm like, come on. Well, no, I'm like, come on. He's like, okay, maybe not. I'm like, well, exactly. Like, Zach's not Zach. I'm sorry. He's not. He's not as say he lost his finger, say this. Like, and they're all trying to blame it on Buck Pierce, which is even funnier. They're still trying to throw Buck Pierce under the bus for that. That was still a O'Shea call. So, whatever. But yes, back to WrestleMania. Definitely a battle of the locker room on that one.
Okay.
Winner gets the Banjo Ball trophy.
Yeah, to pry it out of Willie Jefferson's hand. All right. Well, we'll leave it there this week. I wanted to do more WrestleMania stuff, but went a little long.
Maybe you and I will do a bonus
aside
YouTube only on the side
before
the weekend.
I'm down for it. I'm willing to talk about that. I want to talk about who is El Grande Americano.
Your favorite Starbucks order?
Yeah,
I was going to say that sounds like a coffee drink.
It is. I guarantee you that's someone's coffee order. And they decided to make it a wrestler.
Grande Americano. That's right. Maybe that'll be a YouTube exclusive. But Piffles Podcast brought to you by our great friends at Dairy Queen on Elphinstone Street and Sass Drive in Regina. Special thanks, of course, go to Kathy Festian of Royal LePage Regina Realty, Churchill Brewing Company, District 306, and Bigfoot Vodka for their support making this show happen. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcasts and watching on YouTube or SaskTel Max TV on demand. We'll see you next week. This is Ghost Behind Your Mind by Tyler Gilbert.
Thank you for being such a big supporter and fan of the CFL and myself personally.